Okay, so hello again. Thank you everyone for joining me today. We have a partner webinar from ServiceNow partner AlphaServe dedicated to ServiceNow data and business analytics. We'll talk about integration and some practical cases how companies use ServiceNow data for their business analytics, how they integrate ServiceNow with BI tools, and everything related to this topic. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's a partner webinar. It's organized by AlphaServe, or you may also know us as ACSoft. It's our US entity. We are ServiceNow build partner in the platform segment. As you may know, or you may already heard that the partner program has changed. Previously, we were called ServiceNow Technology Partner. Now it's called ServiceNow Build Partner. But anyway, we are with ServiceNow since 2021. Currently, we have one application on the ServiceNow store, but a few more are coming really soon. Basically, we are a software development company established in 2003. We are from Ukraine, and we are presented in 2 countries at the moment, in the Ukraine and in the United States. We are not only partners of ServiceNow, we are multiple ecosystem partner. We are a Platinum partner of Atlassian, Zendesk Tech partner, Monday.com marketplace partner, and Shopify App Store developer. Our core competence lies in data extraction and transformation, and thus the heart of our portfolio are the BI connectors for ServiceNow, Jira, Zendesk, Monday.com, and Shopify. And we are happy and proud to be chosen by known companies and government institutions from all over the world. And just a few words to present myself, who is speaking to you today. My name is Anna Odrinska, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of AlphaServe. I'm responsible for strategic business development, marketing, and partnerships in my company. And basically, my background is in corporate processes and business project development. And now I'm helping AlphaServe to bring to life the company's business strategy in terms of product development and sales growth. And as you've heard, we are the partner of Atlassian, and I'm also the local community leader in Kyiv. The agenda for our webinar for today is the following. First, I will give you a brief introduction about how we can use the ServiceNow data for business analytics. Then we'll cover the topic why companies may use Power BI for ServiceNow reports. Then I will show you practical examples and dashboards built in Power BI based on ServiceNow data. In the end, I will provide you information about the options how ServiceNow and Power BI can be integrated. In the final end, you will have an option to ask questions. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to write them in comments or just wait when I ask for questions in the end, and I will be able to answer them live. So before we start, I'd like to mention that this session would be recorded. So if you don't wish to be recorded, you can, of course, switch the video, or you can just leave the meeting. But if you're okay with it, please stay with us. So let's go to the first point and start the valuable part of the webinar. So why is ServiceNow important or not important for business analytics? Basically, you may know that ServiceNow is a comprehensive and a centralized platform which allows to manage various IT-related and non-IT related business processes such as HR, finance, and many others. Thus, it collects data from various sources such as incidents, requests, changes, problems, assets, service catalogs, user requirements, knowledge bases, etc., etc. So basically, for companies which are using ServiceNow as a professional software tool on a daily basis in their processes, it is a very rich and valuable source of data because it reflects everything that is happening in their company every second. That is why ServiceNow data is really a valuable data source for business analytics, and I have highlighted the main points why. First of all, using ServiceNow data in your reporting and analytics allows to be more data-driven in your decisions because you have a complete view on the business and what is happening in its operations. Secondly, ServiceNow collects and stores data in real time. As you know, tens, hundreds, and thousands of records are created in the ServiceNow instance hourly or daily, depending on the size of the company. Thus, being able to collect this data enables businesses to access and analyze the latest information. And this may help to make proactive decisions in resolving issues, optimizing resources, etc., and etc. One more point which I'd like to mention is that you can use ServiceNow data to build customized reports and calculate the needed KPIs and performance indicators in real time to track the progress towards business goals. So as you see, ServiceNow data can be really valuable if we talk about business analytics. To be able to analyze data, we need some hard-to-build reports. And here I would like to basically cover the most popular options you may have heard or are using some of them already. And the most widespread one is the ServiceNow built-in reporting. This is the feature which is built inside your ServiceNow instance, and it's available to all ServiceNow users and customers. And you may already have heard about a performance analytics module, and these are two options which are provided by ServiceNow itself. They may consider to be complementary, and the difference is the following: that ServiceNow built-in reporting answers the question, what is happening now? So it's like a report that is built without any historical changes. It reflects everything that is happening at the moment when you open this report. The performance analytics module is considered to be complementary to ServiceNow built-in reporting, though it's a paid option already. And it helps to understand what happens over time. So if you are not happy in understanding what is happening at the moment, how many tickets open you have now, or in which priority, and you need to track it during some historical period like month or year or whatever, ServiceNow built-in reporting would not be the best fit for it, though performance analytics can help to answer this question, because technically this module makes regular snapshots of your data and allows to build trends and to understand what changes have been happening. And one more option, which may not be obvious, but it's also a good one, is to use the professional business intelligence software to build the reporting based on ServiceNow data, such as Microsoft Power BI, which is actually the most popular BI tool, and I will be using it as a basis of my further presentation. But there are also a lot of well-known alternatives like Tableau software, Oracle Analytics, SAP Analytics Cloud, Google BigQuery, and many others. So basically, the choice of the business intelligence product depends on the knowledge of your team or your normal corporate preferences. So just for you to know, it's also possible to use it for building ServiceNow reports. And basically using, for example, Microsoft Power BI can help you to combine benefits of the both previous options, as you can build both reports as it is, or you can also build the reports based on historical data and analyze the changes during a period of time. So if we are talking about the last options, why companies normally prefer, why or when companies prefer to build their ServiceNow reporting in Power BI. The first and the most obvious thing is when the built-in reporting features and capabilities do not fit the user reporting requests. So sometimes, even if the users are okay to see the situation as it is and they don't need the historical data, they may not be satisfied with the calculations or the visuals which are offered inside the ServiceNow, and they need to make it more customizable to fit their definite processes and to fit their reporting requests. The second point is, of course, when you need to visualize and analyze the historical data, as I said, something that has been happening during a year, divided into months or something like that. So this is possible to be built in Power BI however you need it. Another point to mention is that you can build ServiceNow reports based on custom tables. There are companies which create numerous custom tables inside of ServiceNow instances, and they may need to visualize something exactly from these tables. So it's also possible. Sometimes it's much easier to build visuals and reports in Power BI, as you can build one convenient and customized Power BI dashboard inside of switching between a number of ServiceNow charts or creating several reports or whatever. So even if they reflect the same information that you could build in, for example, inside the ServiceNow with the built-in reporting, this is sometimes really more easy and quick. One more use case is when the companies use Power BI as their main reporting tool across various business functions, and they need to add ServiceNow to be the part of it. In this case, they may not want to have one part of the reporting inside of ServiceNow instance, and the second or all the rest somewhere in Power BI. They want to have it in a single place, and that's a good use case as well. And adding to this, sometimes companies use a lot of professional software in their daily operations, not only ServiceNow, but they may use Jira for project management or other tools. They may use any kind of CRM systems, ERP systems, financial software, etc. And in this case, if they want to build a consolidated reporting using the data from all of this software, they may need to grab that data in a single place, combine it, transform it somehow, and Power BI can be a good option for this. And last and not the least that I'd like to mention is that Power BI reports can be automatically updated using scheduled refresh, which is really easy, convenient, and allows to reflect the real-time situation or the most actual situation. And another thing to mention is that they can be shared with non-ServiceNow users. Let me provide you an example here. For example, a service company is providing services for various customers and are using their own ServiceNow instance. And in this case, not all of their customers have access inside in their Jira inside their ServiceNow instance. But at the same time, every customer as a contractor would like to have a separate reporting based on their reporting requirements, on the costs, on the time spent, on the tickets which were processed, etc. And the service company can build separate reports in Power BI based on their ServiceNow instance data for each definite customer. It can be customized to the customer needs and published on Power BI server, and thus shared with all the relevant stakeholders without providing them access into their ServiceNow instance. So I hope this was somehow interesting for you. So let's go on. And as promised, I would like to share you several examples of what can be built inside of ServiceNow, inside of Power BI, based on ServiceNow data. The first and the most, I would say, popular, the most widespread report is the incident management. And as you see, in Power BI, you can build any visuals or any information related to active incidents, the resolved incidents, divide them by urgency, priority, impact, assignment group. So however you need to present it and to see it based on your reporting requests is also possible. As you know, the Power BI dashboards are interactive. So for example, you can filter the certain date here and see that today's situation. You can select a certain period of time and see what was happening during this period of time. You can filter by impact category, urgency, whatever. So it's pretty good to have a quick view on what is happening in your incident management. So, for example, we can see that the major part of the active incidents by urgency are of low urgency, but still we have 16% of high urgency incidents, and I would pay attention to it if I was a team lead of this. Just a small comment that all these dashboards are built on dummy data, so this is not a real use case in terms of data. So you may see some figures which are not related to any definite company. This is just a test data to provide you understanding how it can be. As you see, apart from current state, there is a second tab here, which is mentioned, which is known performance. And this is where we can see how the situation changes over time in certain dates. And this is also really interesting for analytics. The same, the period can be applied here, a custom one, or based on the preset selection, you can filter it as long as you need. So this is a pretty good example what you can do for your incident management using ServiceNow data. Another example, which is also a good one, is the change management. And you can see that you can visualize the total requests, the close change requests, the tasks. You can see the type, the priority. You can even build the change management funnel to understand what is happening in the number of tasks on each state. So this is a good example of report which can provide you. Taking a quick look to it, it can provide you the main information about what is happening and where do you need to interfere or to add additional resources, or where you just need to let the people work as they are working and nothing needed from your side. So here are examples that can be built in Power BI using your ServiceNow data, but actually it's not everything. So as you see, you can customize and build whatever reports you need for your business requirements. Okay, if you wish to build something similar in Power BI using your ServiceNow data, of course, you need to integrate these two separate tools. And there is no native integration. You need to build it. And here I'm happy to present you the two options. The first one, and the one which you may have heard already, you most probably have heard already, is the ServiceNow API integration. It's good that ServiceNow has the API that allows to build you integrations for other software, other tools that you're using. The main point here for the companies, the struggling point, is that it's comparatively complicated, and it really requires development skills. So you need to allocate or invite resources for this kind of development, and these people need to know both API and Power BI in order to build it correctly. But at the same time, it's really sometimes it's the only option for specific or sophisticated custom solutions when your integration and reporting request is too customized, and building a custom ServiceNow API integration is the only way for you to be able to do what you need. There one thing that you should keep in mind if you are considering this option, that to develop it, it's only one of the steps. So before you do it, of course, you need to bring in your business case. You need to understand your reporting requests, so and then to understand what you want from integration, to allocate resources and develop it. But at the same time, don't forget that you need to document everything, that you need to then teach your team how to use it, and in the final that you need to support it, which is most often forgotten during the planning, and is very often out of project scope, but it's also a very important part, because every integration is live organism, let's say so, and the reporting requests from the business analytics team may change from time to time. You may need to add anything or to delete anything or to adjust anything. Thus, it's important to foresee resources for supporting this integration solution if you develop it by yourself as a custom development. But the good thing here is that you need to pay only for resources. The API access itself is free of charge. So if you have such resources inside your team, this would be comparatively free for you. Another way to integrate ServiceNow and Power BI is to use a ready solution. And for example, you can use here our application, the Power BI connector for ServiceNow, which is a public paid app and available on the ServiceNow store. In comparison with the previous option, its strength is that it's easy to start using, so it's already developed. We have done all the job for you. You don't need to overcome any API call limits, or you will not face pagination issues and all this stuff. So everything has already been developed. So no additional development skills required to use it. It also provides a list of user-friendly, let's say so, features like advanced filtering, which allows you to filter definitely the data that you need for a certain report and not export all the huge numerous records which normally exist inside a ServiceNow instance. There is a dot walking to make your life easier in searching the related tables and fields. And there is an incremental refresh available to speed up your refreshes and data exports to make them more optimized. At the same time, as it's a ready solution, it's built on Now by a certified ServiceNow partner, and we as a partner provide the vendor support. So everything related to configuration, use, installation, or whatever you may need during the use or during the trial, it's on our side. By the way, the dashboards, which you have seen before, is also one of the options which is not yet present but is coming soon. We have the built-in dashboards integrated in another our product, Power BI Connector for Jira, with predefined data sources for each different report. So, and currently we are working on the same inside Power BI Connector for ServiceNow. In a couple of weeks, you will be able to see these dashboards as a built-in these, and not only up to 10 templates of Power BI dashboards for ServiceNow inside of our product. But what I cannot admit is that the product is paid and it can be purchased, as I mentioned, on the ServiceNow store with a minimum of a 12 months subscription. So I hope you have now understanding on the alternatives. And if you are interested in a ready solution like our product, so here are the key features, as I mentioned. So the data export is pretty easy and the interface is intuitive. You can do it through ServiceNow portal and it's a no-code experience. You can customize your export as long as you need it and create as many connections as you need to prepare different data sets. And of course, one more feature which I'd like to mention is that the controlled data security, which means that this third-party application cannot be used as a backdoor to your ServiceNow data, because there are several layers of user access to the data inside your ServiceNow instance. The first one is that after installation, the application by default is only available to admins, and admin should assign specific roles to the users, to the relevant users, in order they could use or just see this application inside their ServiceNow instance. Secondly, while creating a data source, a certain user would see only the tables available to be added to this data source, to which he or she has access based on ServiceNow user permissions, which were set by you. And the third thing is when after the data source is created and the user is logging in into Power BI, he or she uses their ServiceNow credentials to log in inside, and they would be able to import in Power BI using our connector only the data they have access to inside the ServiceNow instance. So the application was built with this function in mind to keep the user permissions inside your ServiceNow instance and to protect your sensitive data based on your user permissions. And additionally, the app itself doesn't collect this data, so it's just a bridge between two systems. So we as a vendor do not collect or store any data from your ServiceNow instance. It's stored there. And we just provide a bridge which allows you to send this information to Power BI for further analytics. Here are a few screenshots in order you can understand how it looks like. So this is the portal. This is the way how we can select fields using display value or not using it. This is the example of dot walking feature. So you can press a plus and switch to the related fields in the other tables directly from this table. So as you see, it's pretty user-friendly and easy to use. This is the page of the application on the ServiceNow store. You can try it for free for 30 days. So it's available for everyone, and the trial version is exactly the same as the paid one. So you can use it in your sub-production to see how it works and if it fits your integration request. So this is basically all what I wanted to share with you today. And before we come to questions, there are some takeaways which I'd like you to remember after our today's session. The first one is that business analytics and business intelligence is a hot topic in the companies nowadays because the world changes too fast and there are a lot of external challenges that the companies need to keep hand on what is happening in their business. And being able to do this on real-time data is very important because previously the basic scenario was that a big business analytics team prepares reports, different reports for their top management for 2 weeks, and then they check it and try to see that there are no discrepancies for 1 more week. And when they present it 3 weeks later, the data is already old because during these 3 weeks, a lot of new more things happened. So to avoid it, I kindly invite you to consider the more modern and technical solutions for integrations and for reporting. The second point is that the leading software ServiceNow, it's definitely an important data source for business analysis, and that can make you really that can make your decision making really data-based. And the last, but not the least, that ServiceNow data analytics does widen your business data landscape, regardless the size of your company, and it's not a discussion point anymore. So there are a lot of valuable data for to analyze and to understand what's happening. So the companies only need to consider the possible options, how they can use this data, how they can build the analytics of this data, how they can build reports, where, and to select the most suitable one coming out of their business requests. I thank you very much for your attention. Before we come to questions, just to you can take a screenshot of this slide. Here are my contacts. You can reach out to me with any questions regarding what you have just heard. You can sign up to us on LinkedIn. You can visit our website, or by visiting the QR code, you can go to the product page for Power BI Connector for ServiceNow on our website. So I will keep it just for a few minutes, for a few seconds, in order you could capture it. And I will stop sharing to see if there are any questions which I may answer. Okay. So any questions here from everyone? I don't see anything in the chat, but you may ask it from voice, and I will answer it. Any questions from anyone? On one hand, I'm happy that maybe this is clear, but on the other hand, maybe this is completely unclear. That's why you don't have any questions. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. The recording would be available after the session, and I will send it to all the attendees in order you could review it afterwards. And the second question is there any limitations of roles in API? If you are talking about API itself, yes, there are limits. And if using a connector, you as a user, you will not feel these limits because it's developed using pagination and all other technical hints in order you could use the API without the basic limitations. Any other questions? Yes, as I said, the connector is a paid service. It's a paid solution. You can try it for free, as I said, for 30 days on the ServiceNow store, and without any commitments for further subscription. So you're completely free to test it and to find out if it's something that you are looking for. And if you just don't want to proceed with the purchase, it will just expire after 30 days without any other things for you to do. How often can I refresh my data source? So basically, how often you can refresh your data depends on the settings inside the Microsoft Power BI. From what I know, the most recent is to refresh it once in 30 minutes. So technically, Power BI doesn't allow you to do it more often. But the main way how our customers use the scheduled refresh is, for example, that they set it for a certain time to have the data renewed before a daily meeting or a top management meeting. For example, you can set the scheduled refresh daily on 7 a.m. So when you come to work at 8 or 9, you will definitely get all your data refreshed and see the actual information, including the changes which happened before 7 a.m. Okay, there are some more questions, and for some of them, I may ask my colleagues. I hope they are still here, the technical ones, because as you may have noticed, I'm a business person, not the technical person. How to reduce the time when data from ServiceNow is loaded to Power BI using ServiceNow API solution? Any good practices? So if I understand the question right, it relates to the API itself, which I'm not good at, honestly. Does querying on the ServiceNow production environment via Power BI Connector create extra workload in the ServiceNow production environment? So basically, I can comment here from my side, and maybe any of my colleagues would like to add something here. Basically, our application is built on Now app, and it was checked and certified by ServiceNow, and we as a partner are obliged to use all the ServiceNow performance restrictions and performance requirements. And before going any application live on the ServiceNow store, ServiceNow checks that we follow these requirements and that using the application doesn't foresee any kind of performance impact on the customer's instance. That is why using the application will not somehow stop working, prevent your instance from working or something like that. But of course, as I mentioned, the ServiceNow normally contains millions and millions of records, and sometimes it's time consuming to export all of this data. but basically it's not often business relevant. That is why we, for example, in our application offer the opportunity to filter the data based on date or based on any other features. So the first thing is to filter, and the second one is to pick up only the fields and tables that you need to customize your export and make it as relevant as possible for a definite report. And that is why actually we allow to create several data sources for several reports. So for example, you don't need to pull everything and then pick from there in Power BI the information that you need for every certain report. You can create a certain data source for certain report, pick up only the data that is relevant for this report, and refresh it based on using this connection. And another report contains another data, and you create a second another data source and refresh this report using this definite connection. That's why we actually do not limit our customers inside of our application in creating in the number of data sources. So you can create as many as you need. If you have 20 reports, you can create 20 data sources and refresh each report in the needed time for the needed team, and pull out only, fetch only the data which is needed for this definite report. I hope that somehow using your this is somehow is answering your questions. Can you provide a comparison of performance of loading data from ServiceNow to Power BI using two solutions, API and connector? It's a complex question, and unfortunately, I cannot answer it at the moment. So if you wish, I can. You can send me a message afterwards, and I will reach out to my team to provide you some hints on how these two features can be compared. Can we use your that was my answer to Agnieszka. Can we use your connector to gather data from ServiceNow with using an ETL tool to upload them to a data warehouse? Well, from what I know, our connector can only be used to fetch data to Power BI, and as I said, it doesn't make any snapshots or duplicates, so the data isn't stored inside our application. So it's stored inside of your ServiceNow instance, and we provide just a bridge. That is why I'm not sure whether it will work with any other things besides Power BI. In other ecosystems, we have tools like SQL connector, and actually we are thinking of building it for ServiceNow as well. And in this case, this is another connector which will allow to fetch data to different databases like MySQL or others. So potentially that may be an option for you, but it's still in development, and I cannot promise you the exact dates where it would be live. But if this is something that, Tolga, this is something that is relevant for you, you can also drop me a line, and I will notify you as soon as we are close to releasing it, and you will be in the first beta testers. Okay. Whew, I'm happy that there are questions. So I hope this means that what I've presented to you was really interesting. Any other questions? Okay. One more question from Agnieszka. What kind of subscription to Power BI connector is it? It's a fixed price. Yes, we made our pricing transparent and comprehensible for users. So it is a subscription related to an instance, regardless of the number of users or number of modules or the version of ServiceNow instance which you use. So it's a fixed price without any other additional costs for support or new versions, which we constantly release on a regular basis, and all our current customers have access to these new versions. They can update it from the store without any additional costs. So answering your question, the subscription, it's a monthly price, with a minimum contract term or terms of 12 months, and it's a final price without any other additional costs related to configuration, use, update, or whatever. So the pricing is seems to be pretty comprehensible. Welcome. And as I said, there is a free trial available, so you can, using your high credentials, you can install it, configure it. We have a pretty good documentation to the application, which includes all step-by-step instructions on how to install, how to configure for admin, how to use it for users, with all the features pretty well described. So this is something that can be helpful for the teams during trial and of course afterwards. And our support team is would be always here to help if you need anything. And we also can organize live demo sessions for the companies who are considering to purchase, even before the purchase, not only afterwards. So during the trial, you can reach out and request a demo, and we would be happy to make it for you. Okay, we are coming to the end of 45 minutes, which the meeting were planned. If there is anything you would like me to mention, let me know. Okay, then I thank you everyone for coming. It was a pleasure for me to be here with you today, to present to you today. I really hope that the information that you've heard was valuable for you. If you are considering our product as an integration option for your ServiceNow reporting, feel free to reach out to me or to start a free trial from the store. Anyway, you can always find my contacts. You can always reach out and ask any questions that you may need. I thank you very much for your attention, and I promise to send a follow-up email in a few days with a prepared recording. I'll prepare it accordingly and send it to you in order you could share with the relevant people in your team. So thank you for your attention. Those who have morning have a great day ahead. Those who have evening, enjoy your evening. And hear you in our next partner webinars. Goodbye.